gin, vermouth, vinegar, peppercorn, a little maple syrup, and some yak butter.
Yak butter?
The TV spin-off of Suicide Squad called Peacemaker has been a smash hit on HBO. Created by James Gunn and starring John Cena, the show is pretty good and actually features a signature cocktail called the Peace Train. We'll get to that in a second, but my book Cocktail Chemistry is going to be publishing in May, and it is beautiful. And to thank everyone who pre-orders it, my publisher is running a sweepstakes with some awesome prizes like a flavor blaster, gift cards, and signed copies. Details in the description below and at the end of this video. All right, now on to the Peace Train.
And this is the Peace Train. It is gin, vermouth, vinegar, peppercorn, a little maple syrup, and some yak butter.
Yak butter?
Hard to find an evergreen, so I'd use normal butter, but here we do.
Oh my God. What the fuck, man?
That's rude.
What's rude is you giving me a feces drink.
No, it's not that bad.
All right, let's see if this is really a feces drink. Got my hands on some clarified yak butter, or yak ghee, a popular ingredient apparently found in Tibetan butter tea. This stuff kind of has a bit of cheese flavor, a little funky, kind of like a wet dog. It's not bad, but it's not great. But when we break down the rest of the ingredients, we get a nice little still frame here, some white vinegar, pretty sure that's a Martini and Rossi bottle of dry vermouth, and that is definitely a bottle of aviation gin. Very kind of DC Comics to support Deadpool's brand of gin. We don't have the exact measurements here, but I'll give it a crack. I'm using a dry gin here, 1.5 ounces or 45 mils into a shaker glass. And again, we know this is a dry vermouth, not a sweet vermouth. We're gonna use about 1 ounce or 30 mils. This was starting to look like a martini until the maple syrup. By the color of the drink, I'm gonna guess it was about 1/2 ounce or 15 mils. Let's class it up a bit with some champagne vinegar. We'll add a couple splashes in here, and normally this would be a great thing to add to a martini spec, make it a little bit like a dirty martini. Peppercorns is not gonna be too pleasant to drink. We'll grind about, I don't know, 1/2 tablespoon in there. And then our yak butter, precisely 1 dollop. Almost a dollop, let's go. That's looking pretty nasty. There we go. Even though there's no citrus in this spec, he definitely shakes it up as we can see in the show. So we're gonna shake that vigorously for about 15 seconds. I'm not sure we're gonna actually melt any of that yak butter, but let's give it a shot. Let's double strain that into a rocks glass with a couple ice cubes. And yeah, sure enough, we see a good amount of that yak butter chunks just stuck on that Hawthorne strainer there. Can't say I'm super excited for this one based on the reaction of the show, but let's give it a taste. Our Peace Train from Peacemaker. Right away, just smells like gin. You don't really get many other strong flavors on the nose. This is me bracing for a feces drink, and I mean, you know, it's not that bad. I think the sweetness of the maple kind of overpowers it a bit here. I'd probably pare that way back, get a little brininess from the vinegar, but other than that, it's kind of like a martini. The yak butter is pretty much non-existent here. Maybe you get a little bit more body to the drink, but yeah, it's not really that strong. Okay, but there's a real cocktail called the Peace Train that is pretty close to this. We'll again start with 1.5 ounces of dry gin. This one calls for sweet vermouth instead of dry vermouth, 1 ounce or 30 mils. Next, we need some Calvados or apple brandy, which always smells amazing, just about 1 ounce or 30 mils. Next, we need a bit of yellow chartreuse, which is the milder, lower proof cousin of green chartreuse, just about 1/2 ounce or 15 mils. Then shake with ice for about 15 seconds to chill and dilute, and then we're going to double strain into a chilled coupe glass. All right, this is the real Peace Train. Right away, you definitely get that apple brandy on the nose, amazing, and it's a bit like a Martinez cocktail, but a little bit more herbal and, of course, more apples. Definitely on the strong side, but it is somehow nicely balanced. But I gotta give it to Peacemaker for trying to whip something up for a guest at 4 a.m. with the stuff he's got in his apartment. But I am beyond excited to be holding the first copy of my book, Cocktail Chemistry, The Art and Science of Drinks from Iconic TV Shows and Movies. I actually have a whole section in here on fat washing and the science behind that, including doing some brown butter fat washing, which might have been a better way to make that peace train. And my publisher, Simon & Schuster, is doing a little sweepstakes for people who pre-order the book today. One winner is going to get a signed copy of the book, a Flavor Blaster Pro kit for making awesome smoke bubbles, $150 Williams-Sonoma gift card, and a $100 Drizzly promotional code. One runner-up is also going to get a signed copy of the book, a Flavor Blaster mini kit, and a $50 Drizzly promo code. And then 3 runner-up winners will each get a signed copy of the book. And anyone who enters according to the rules will get an early access PDF download of my clarified Pina Colada recipe that has been massively improved since I first made it. So proud of the book and really think you're going to enjoy it. For all those who are going to pre-order, see the link in the description below for details on how to enter.